What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Going Volt, and I am back in with another Madden 19 Team of the Week predictions, guys. If you are excited for the Team of the Week, Week 4, let me know down below by leaving a like on the video and commenting what players you hope to see get some brand new cards this week. And as always, if you are not yet subscribed, make sure you scroll on, click that subscribe button. It is absolutely free. And make sure you join the Volt Squad. We just passed 1.6 thousand subscribers, so thank you so much for that, guys. Without further ado, let's get right into the Team of the Week, Week 4 predictions. This is a pretty interesting week. Kind of easier to figure out the defensive players. Usually it's actually pretty tough for me. But the defensive players actually stood out this week way more than past weeks. So let's start off with the gold defensive player, starting with, unfortunately, defensive tackle Maurice Hurst for the Oakland Raiders, going up against my Cleveland Browns. But regardless of how annoyed I am with the game, he had a very solid performance for the rookie. He had 4 tackles, 1 sack, and a forced fumble. Definitely a stat line you don't often see from rookie defensive tackles, so great job, Maurice Hurst. Definitely earning him a new gold Team of the Week card. And opposite Maurice Hurst, we have a wide receiver for Team of the Week this week, and I chose wide receiver John Brown for the Baltimore Ravens, of course. Super fast. He probably should have had double or even triple what his stats actually led him to be, because I mean, I don't know if it was Joe Flacco overthrowing or Joe Flacco underthrowing, or if it was even Joe Flacco's fault, but I feel like every single time John Brown stepped on the field, he was getting doubled, and he still burnt the safety and the corner, and he definitely earns a Team of the Week card this week, getting a total of 116 yards receiving with a touchdown. Again, that probably should be at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3, but 116 and a tutty is still very good, definitely earning him an offensive gold Team of the Week player. Moving on to the other gold items, I have rookie Harold Landry getting a new item this week. Definitely a very good performance on Harold Landry, showing why teams should not have let him drop in the draft. Coming off the edge at outside linebacker for the Titans, he had a sack, which led to a sack fumble, getting the Titans back the ball, and definitely just winning against the Eagles, as you guys probably saw. Super Bowl champions, a very solid game from the Titans, especially with Mariota's injury. I was not expecting them to win. I think most people counted them out, so Harold Landry definitely helped them get the W this week, getting him a new Team of the Week card. And then again on offense, we have running back Mike Davis for the Seattle Seahawks. Right before the game started, Chris Carson was actually put on the inactive list. I'm not sure what's going on with him, if it's a hamstring or what, but Mike Davis came in to fill the role, and he got over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Seattle Seahawks, even behind that pitiful offensive line. So Mike Davis, in my opinion, definitely earned himself a new upgrade this week in Madden Ultimate Team. Now moving on from golds to the low elites, let's start it off with outside linebacker for the Packers, Kyler Fackrell. Kyler had an absolutely insane game, especially for somebody that I've never really heard of. Maybe it's just because I'm not a diehard Green Bay fan, but I gotta admit, I've never heard of his name before, and now he's definitely on my radar, getting 3 sacks against the Buffalo Bills. I know it's just the Bills, probably one of the worst offenses in the league, but they completely shut out the Bills after they had a decent game against the Vikings last week. So Kyler was a big part of that. Like I said, getting 3 sacks on Josh Allen, absolutely crazy game from him, and definitely, in my opinion, earning him a low overall elite. Coming up next on offense, we have wide receiver Taylor Gabriel for the Chicago Bears, and this was definitely not going to be the only Bear on the list. I'll talk about them in a little bit, but for now, Taylor Gabriel had an absolutely crazy game at only like 5'7", 5'8" wide receiver. He got 104 yards and 2 touchdowns for Mitchell Trubisky to seal that game against the Bucs. It was absolutely crazy. They were completely blowing out the Bucs. I didn't really expect it to be, you know, the Bucs winning. I thought the Bears were going to win, but I didn't think it'd be by this much. So that definitely helped to be at the hands of Taylor Gabriel, like I said, with 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. Great game from him, and definitely upgrading to an elite card this week in Madden. Next, we have a player who had a really good stat line. Unfortunately, his team did lose on the last play of the game, but I think his stat line was good enough to get him in Madden Ultimate Team this week. Same thing happened last week with a fellow teammate of his, actually, and if you know who I'm talking about defensive end Takaris McKinley, and 3 sacks against the Bengals. Again, did take the L, but it's really hard to leave off a player who got 3 sacks. It's a crazy stat line in the NFL, so Tak definitely earned himself a new upgrade this week. I'm not super confident in it because, like I said, he did lose. EA is really kind of weird about giving cards to people who lost, but I think if they're going to give one to anybody, it definitely should be him this week. So that's my pick. And the final low overall elite is going to be running back James White for the New England Patriots. Absolutely crazy game after Rex Burkhead went to IR. Actually, him and Sony Michel had really good games, so I think they could give him to either of them, but I'm actually going to give him to James White. A little bit biased because he won me my fantasy football lineup. I traded for him at the end of last week, and he went off. He had like 30 PPR points, something like that. James White had 8 receptions, one of which was for a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown, so 2 total touchdowns. He was all over the field. He was running the ball. He was catching the ball. And then Sony Michel, when James White wasn't, it had like over 100 yards rushing too. So the Patriots definitely had their way with the Dolphins. I think it could go either way, but I'm going to give it to James White because I'm biased and because he had the extra touchdown. So James White is probably going to be the low overall elite and definitely my pick for this week. So moving into the high elite, this is where the defense is kind of weird. I mean, the offensive players definitely earned it. The defensive players had very good games. It just seems like it's kind of a big jump from what their overalls are now. It's what their overalls are going to be. But let's start it off with Trevor Williams, cornerback for the Chargers. He had 8 tackles and an interception that was about this close to being a pick 6. He returned it 86 total yards, which is absolutely crazy. So I think Trevor Williams definitely deserves an upgrade. I think he's only like an 80 or 81 overall in the game right now. So this will make him jump from an 81 to an 84, 85. It's a little bit smaller of a jump than the next guy, but definitely somebody to keep an eye on. I think it's kind of a weird spot, the 84, 85 overall, because I don't think anybody really fits there. So Trevor Williams is definitely just kind of a plug and play player. Not super confident in this pick, but if EA does it, I will not be surprised. So Trevor Williams, definitely my defensive high elite player. Next, again, unfortunately, we have tight end Jared Cook for the Oakland Raiders. I don't know what it is. He either does nothing or he does everything, it seems like, on a week-to-week basis. And this week against my Cleveland Browns, he just happened to do everything. Over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns from the tight end is something we don't see very often. The Browns just could not cover him. He seemed to be wide open every single play, and Derek Carr kept finding him over and over and over. So I think he definitely is going to probably get an upgrade. He has an 80 overall right now, so 80 to 85 is kind of a high jump, +5, but definitely deserved. Like I said, tight ends just don't have stat lines like that very often, and I think EA is probably looking forward to giving a high card to somebody who's not a running back or a wide receiver. So I think Jared Cook, I'm pretty confident, is going to get this high elite. I'd probably bet money on it, to be honest. So like I said, I'm going to pick Jared Cook for my high elite player for Team of the Week, week 4. And next, like I said, I was not done with the Chicago Bears. We have quarterback Mitch Trubisky taking the final high elite spot before we get to the heroes. 6 touchdowns for Mitch Trubisky. I actually just dropped him in fantasy after last week. He only got me 5 points, didn't throw a touchdown. Super weak game. This whole year he's been okay, but nothing fantastic, and I definitely wasn't expecting him to come out and score 6 touchdowns. That's the most by any Bears quarterback in the modern era. I think the total touchdown record is like 7 tutties, so he was only 1 away. Absolutely crazy game for Mitch Trubisky. He targeted basically everybody. Almost everybody on the Bears had a touchdown except for Jordan Howard. So Mitch Trubisky having 6 touchdowns and a total of 354 passing yards, 0 interceptions. Crazy game from him. Definitely earns him a spot at the high elite player. And then finally, this was another kind of weird choice, but the overall seemed to fit where he's going now, and that is cornerback Malcolm Butler from the Tennessee Titans, former Patriot. Had a pretty solid game, 10 tackles, which is actually a lot for a corner, a sack, and a forced fumble, again helping the Titans get the win against the Eagles. I'm pretty sure he got burnt a couple times, maybe even for a touchdown. I didn't watch the game personally, this is just what you guys were telling me on Twitter, but his stat line is decent enough, and again, like Trevor Williams, nobody really fit in that spot. So I don't know if EA is going to give 2 cornerbacks high elite cards, but if they do, I think Malcolm Butler has a pretty good chance of getting it, and he earned his right into my Team of the Week elite high players. Now, guys, that was the gold, the low elite, and the high elite. I hope you're enjoying the video. Leave a like if you are. Let's get into the heroes, the moment you're all waiting for. I'm going to start it off with the defensive hero, the player that I'm very confident in will get the defensive hero. It's not like weeks past where it could be anybody. I just think there's one name that really stood out to me, and that's DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys, defensive end. He's currently the sack leader in the NFL. I don't know if that's quietly. It seems quietly to me. I'm not a huge Cowboys fan, but I haven't heard that much buzz around DeMarcus Lawrence. This past week, he got 3 sacks against the Lions. So a total of 3 sacks, 8 tackles for DeMarcus Lawrence. Absolutely monster year so far. Like I said, leading the NFL in sacks. His current card is an 83, so an 83 jumping to a 90 or a 91 is kind of a high jump, but for the sack leader, I think they're going to give it to him. He definitely earns it in my opinion, and definitely deserves it. So I think if anybody's going to get it, it's going to be DeMarcus Lawrence. Nobody else stood out that had that crazy of a game and already had a pretty high card, so I'm pretty confident in this pick, DeMarcus Lawrence, for my defensive hero. And the offensive hero, I know you guys are probably pissed I did not choose Alvin Kamara. Believe me, I love Alvin Kamara as much as everybody else does. He got 3 rushing touchdowns this week, and I'm pretty sure every single week 1, 2, 3, and 4, he's deserved the Team of the Week hero card. I just don't think they're going to give it to him because I'm like 99% confident that he's going to get a promo master card, whether that be most feared or something like that. that. There's just no way they wait this long to give him an upgrade and then don't have something planned for him down in the future, if that makes sense. So unfortunately, while I do think he probably deserves the Team of the Week hero upgrade more than anybody else, I'm going to give it to Jared Goff, because Jared Goff also had an absolutely monster game. I am not kidding when I say that this was probably a top 5 performance from any quarterback in the history of the National Football League. Absolutely crazy game. If you guys watched it, Rams versus Vikings, it was a Thursday night football game. Jared Goff went off for 465 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, over 70% completion percentage. And don't forget, the Vikings defense was ranked #1 last year, so this is one of the better defenses in the league. Not as good as last year, probably still top 5. And Jared Goff absolutely toasted them. I don't know if it's because Jared Goff is really good. I don't think he is. I think it's more of a Sean McVay offense, and Sean McVay just being an absolutely amazing coach. But Jared Goff just spreads around the ball so well. He gets every single person involved. Cooper Kupp had 2 touchdowns. I think Robert Woods had 1 as well. Todd Gurley had a couple. Everybody's getting touches. Brandon Cooks. Jared Goff has had an amazing year so far. He got a Team of the Week card last week as a high elite. I think it was an 84. So it wouldn't doubt me if they boosted him to a 90 to a 91 this week. Jared Goff definitely deserves it, being one of the most solid, consistent quarterbacks in the NFL so far this season. Like I said, if he doesn't get it, it's probably going to be Alvin Kamara. I'm not super confident in EA doing that. I think they'd rather save Kamara for a high program. Like I said, most feared, something like that, because they're not going to do that for Jared Goff. So I'm actually pretty confident in Jared Goff getting this Team of the Week card. I think most people think it's going to be Kamara, and I almost did go with him, but I just want to be a little bit different. And if it does end up being Jared Goff, your boy was correct and everybody else was wrong. So a little bit of bragging rights there, but yes, I did choose Jared Goff for my Team of the Week offensive hero for Week 4. And guys, that is going to do it for my Team of the Week Week 4 predictions. I do hope you go on to enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment anybody you're hoping to see get a new card this year. And like I said, if you're not already, subscribe to join the Volt Squad. I would appreciate it, and I would love to have you as a subscriber on the team. And make sure you guys all spam tweet me when I get all the tweets wrong tomorrow when the new cards come out. Until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been Volt, and I'll catch you on the sticks. Later.
Make the ground shake.